We would be honored if you would join us.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning into another video. Last week I did a bit of a video sort of explaining the way to get a couple of the new vintage collection looks and give them a couple of variations, and I talked about how to do the Death Star Escape, like a modernized version of Death Star Escape, and of course just putting the poncho and the hat on the Luke to create that sort of deleted scene style. But yeah, this video we're going to scale up a little bit, and we're going to go with Black Series. So I did a review on the new Luke, as you can see. We'll do the grand reveal, and of course in the video I hadn't quite worked out that the Quadnox, the mono binoculars, macro binoculars, they do just hang on the peg there like that. I hadn't worked that out yet, so thank you for all that let me know. And yeah, I was quite blown away by the head sculpt that came on the Luke. I think it looks very good. I still think it looks very good. But in hindsight, I was reviewing what I was put in front of the camera, not necessarily talking about what it wasn't. So I decided to I've just been playing around in my room here, and taking a few suggestions from other people on the internet, and it's been cool. And just having a look at some of the other Lukes, and I had another look at the old Yavin Ceremony Luke, which is a very fine Luke. He was released in a comic pack as well, sort of a bigger deluxe comic pack. He came with some other bits and pieces and training remote and all that kind of stuff. But still great figures. I still wanted to have them on the shelf. But what I've done is basically just swap some heads. So here we've got what I think now is a slightly better version of each. I still think this Yavin Ceremony Luke is one of the best head sculpts, along with the Dagobah Training Luke. I think that's a fantastic head sculpt. I did get some of those a few years ago. I got some of those Dagobah Training Lukes, and I put one on a Bespin, and I'll put another one on the spare Yavin body, because I did use my other one of this head on a Snowspeeder Pilot Luke, which looks really good. But yeah, I've actually got some sort of reasoning for this sort of swap too. The fact that it is sort of Farm Boy Luke here on the left. His hair appears a little bit more blonder, as it does in the Twin Suns, out there in the open. And I think the facial detail on the head sculpt is just a little bit extra compared to this one. And as I stated in the review, that Mark Hamill has always been a very, very difficult head to get right. He's he has a lot of different sort of changes in appearances with just the hair. He changes a lot throughout the three films, the three original trilogy films. But I like the way this new head sculpt here on the right has actually popped onto the Yavin Ceremony Luke. It kind of resembles a lot the way the hair sits. It's almost like he's just been in battle. He's been out, destroyed the Death Star. He's been able to go, shower, freshen up. He still would have stank from the trash compactor. So he's been able to sort of just, his hair's a little bit, brushed, a little bit tidier. Maybe he came out in the ceremony room, just fresh out the shower. He's got that sort of youthful, hopeful look about him as he's standing up there on stage receiving his medal. And I think that works for this figure a lot. I think that's an ideal swap, to be honest. I think that just works well. Again, is not a bad head sculpt at all. Yeah, maybe if they'd parted the hair a little bit like the TVC one here, which is pretty much what this one's like here. If that hair had gone on, it may have worked. Let's sort of get a look at both of them there. Which the TVC one is absolutely insanely good. So yeah, sort of a little bit more of a neater, clean look. So I mean, looking at this look from that angle, you know, I think that looks pretty bang on. It's all lighting and angles, and you know, we're used to looking at these characters on a two-dimensional photo. You know, you're not sort of sitting there with the actor spinning their head around looking at each and every little angle as you watch the film. And the more I look at this, the more I do like it. You know, it's a pretty damn nice head sculpt. The facial detail as well is really nice. But yeah, getting this sort of dusty haired, messy haired farm boy. And he's still suffering a little bit from the old glossy, sweaty face. And I know I've got two stream lights sort of shooting right at him, so it's picking up every tiny little nuance and detail. But again, it's all about angles and light. But for the farm boy look, I think this is a slight improvement, to be honest. It's you know, just for the sake of my shelves. You know, the new layer is absolutely outstanding. Han Solo is begging for an update. Begging, I tell you. And yeah, it's more or less, you know, a straight head swap, keeping the pegs from the heads, not the necks. And the only thing I did do was sort of, I got a drill bit that sort of fit into the neck and just sort of took out a little bit more, just so it would go down a little bit. It's quite a long neck, and it sort of sits into the head of this one a little bit more. And for this one, I actually put a little bit of blue tack in the head, in the peg. You can kind of see it there a little bit. So I'm going to squash that back in there, just to sort of push it up a little bit. Because initially popping the head down, it was a little bit too, I don't know, it's a little bit too just head and shoulders. But how these two have ended up have been, I'm quite happy with them. You know, Yavin Ceremony Luke doesn't really, he doesn't sit at the back of the shelf, but he's not right up front where Farm Boy Luke is either. So, you know, he can sort of sit there just behind with the Yavin Ceremony layer. And hopefully with the inclusion of a potential update to Han Solo, we can get a Yavin Ceremony Han Solo as well. But that'd be a pretty simple one to tweak and customize anyway. But yeah, Hasbro, if you're watching, new Han Solo, please get on it. I can't remember if he was pipelined. I believe him and Ben were pipelined for vintage. I'm not sure about Black Series. So hopefully it's a sign of things to come. We've got two great Lukes, two great layers in both scales. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. And yeah, we'll catch up very soon. I've got a couple of new TVC figures coming next week, so they'll be up. I've actually got next week off, so hopefully I can get some videos done on those. And yeah, just waiting for some next sort of Black Series and vintage things to come across. And hopefully the Ghost shows up for me finally next week, which I'm pumped about. So we're going to tidy up a little bit in here and get some space happening, because yeah, it's going to take up some room. But yeah, again, thank you all very much for watching. See you again soon. May the Force be with you, always.